The Stories podcast here at Hola Prime. Today, we're joined by one of our funded traders, Jeremy from Texas, who controls a $300,000 account, a two-step Prime account with us, and he's now eligible for a $9,500 payout. So, Jeremy, thank you for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So Jeremy, we'll get straight into it.
Okay.
The viewers love to learn a little bit about, our traders, how you got where you are today. So I guess the first question would be, where did it all start for you trading wise?
By accident. I got lucky and bought this is probably 10 years ago, and there was all sorts of little newsletters that go out of this hot stock that was,
Yeah.
coming out. And so I opened up a brokerage account and put some money in there and went all in. And unfortunately, I got lucky and it took off, it shot to the moon. And I was thinking, like many people, wow, this trading stuff's pretty easy. And so that was probably the worst thing that happened. Because then when you start doing that over and over, and as anybody that's traded knows, that's not a winning strategy or risk management style that you want to follow. So that was kind of just backed into it, and I think just came across a newsletter of some hot stock that was going to the moon, and it did for me for a little bit, but eventually, like most people, I think I lost all that money pretty quick.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's
So that's
funny,
how I
actually.
began, just trading equities.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely funny because, every beginner, let's face it, we all lose money at the beginning.
Sure.
But some people do have that little bit of luck at the beginning where they
Yeah.
overestimate their abilities then. And I almost feel that is worse than if you just lost like straight out of the gate. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because it kind of like builds you up and
Yeah,
you're all
no, it
hyped
is. It
up.
is because yeah, you don't know what you're doing, and you don't know how quickly it can turn on you until it actually happens.
Mm,
So yeah, that's what happened to me, and so then went back to the drawing board and started trying to actually learn how to trade from there, and studying everything I could online, just every trade guru that I could come across. Just would read their stuff, read their podcast, took a class here, that kind of stuff. Probably like most of the listeners here have done the same thing.
yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. So you started in stocks. Do you still trade stocks today, or you mentioned equities as well, so I'm
Mhm.
assuming.
Yeah, I do. I trade stocks, equities, but mainly with you guys, the indices, a little bit of forex, but mainly the indices. And sorry. Yeah, for me, I just started studying charts and just screen time. For me, I actually took a job probably about 5 years ago. I'm
Mhm.
not there anymore. With a brokerage here in the Dallas area, and uh, learned a lot about the market there. Learned a lot about market manipulation. How some of that, the specialty there was we located hard to find uh, borrows for people that are looking to short stocks, garbage stocks that have gone parabolic, and then no shorting. So that was the kind of niche of the broker that I worked at. So I saw a lot there. But what it allowed me to do is it allowed me to have charts open all day long.
Yeah.
And so just watching the movement of stocks and how to respond, and learning about support and resistant levels and the different moving averages that seem to work for me. And so that's really where I began to kind of learn, um, as far as entries, and how to read entries, and when where to put my stops, and where to put my targets, and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you're right. I mean, there's no replacement to just getting that pure screen time, just watching the charts. You almost build like a sixth sense. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like um something
yeah,
you
you
just
do.
can't learn. You
Well,
just
yeah,
have to have
you're
it.
like, I've seen this before. I've seen this a million play out a million times. And that doesn't mean that the next time it's going to play out exactly like that, but you've seen it play over and over and over and over, and that's what, I'll have friends or people find out what I do, and they'll say, "Hey, can you teach me?" And so, I mean, I'll point them in the right direction, give them here's a book, or I like these guys. These guys are solid, to learn some basics, but there's really no replacing just screen time and sitting there and learning. And I think that's where you really learn.
Yeah.
So the more you can do that, if you don't have time during the day, if you can have it recorded, and then watch it at night, do whatever you got to do. But just spending time watching the charts and watching how price action moves is where I think we're going to get the most benefit from.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% agree. So equities, yeah. Recently they've been a day trader's dream to trade, haven't
Oh,
they?
not. Yeah.
Some of the movement.
It's
I mean,
crazy,
I
man.
I only trade the S&P 500, so I'm like you.
Okay.
I don't really dabble in anything else. I like the equities. I like the S&P,
Okay.
and wow.
Yeah, I mean, especially after this weekend, when the trade or the between the meeting with Trump and China, and I think we kind of expected that. We're praying that something was going to come through because we felt like it would finally break through this sideways action. But it's been extremely volatile.
Mm,
But this week especially, but and last week the stocks have been on fire. A lot of the
yeah,
ones, some of the ones I'm in now. I think I just closed out Tesla today. But I mean, it's just stuff that's just gone. The last 4 or 5 days it's been a dream for day trading for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. No, absolutely. It's probably been probably my best quarter.
Trading the S&P.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely insane the movement. I mean, we
Oh,
had
look.
like two, three times the daily ATR
Uh-huh.
compared to, it's just
Yeah.
insane the
Yeah,
movement.
yeah. Every day is. I mean, if it's a 1.5% move, it's like a slow day. It's like I
Yeah,
mean, every day is just these wild. And I think that's. I've kind of You asked about trade stocks, and I do, but I've really enjoyed trading indices. This is something that's kind of been new for me. I've always got the S&P and the cues pulled up, kind of just seeing where the market's at and looking at that daily, but haven't traded it a whole lot. And what I really like about it is I feel like it's easier for me, I'm learning it's easier to manage risk because trade equities, the market closes, you never know what's going to happen overnight.
yeah,
And you wake up and you get gapped down against, and that's hard to recover if you got a big position open. And I like the indices in that and trading the contracts for difference because I can keep the stop open. And it's if something crazy happens, somebody shoots off a missile in the middle of the night, whatever, I know that I'm going to get stopped out. I know exactly what my risk is.
yeah,
And some of the stocks, it's that makes it hard, especially some of the garbage stocks that you can trade, that you just don't know what's going to happen, and that can really hurt you too. And so I've learned to kind of stay away from that. If I do trade equities, it's typically the bigger, more solid companies, the Amazons, the Nvidias, Teslas, kind of stuff.
yeah,
Stay away from some of the ones that I learned how to trade on. But then the indices that seem to be where I'm making most of my money is trading those. Just because I feel like I can manage the risk a lot better. So I'm not having to
absolutely.
make losses all the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would love to know a little bit about your actual strategy.
Okay.
What do you look for? What's your entry requirements? How do you set your stop, your take profit? I mean, if it's possible, if you could even show your charts,
Yeah.
that would be amazing.
Yeah. Let me go over here. Okay, so my strategy is typically not a whole lot to my charts. It's funny, as the older I've gotten and the longer I've done this, the less I have on my charts. I just find it's easier for me.
Yeah,
Um, it not so you don't have so many signals, I guess.
yeah,
Like if I've got a lot of different things going on, it gives me a lot of false. I overtrade, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And
absolutely.
so I've got three moving averages on here. I've got the 200, I got the 50, and then I have the 20. And those are my three. And then I have volume, and that's really it. The trade I just come off of support and resistance. So I'm looking for. Here's a high here. I'm looking for things to bounce
Hmm.
off of support resistance levels. Right here, recently, the trade that I was in kind of broke. You and I were just talking about how crazy the S&P was
Yeah,
these last 8 months. I mean, the up and the down, and when it finally kind of broke through the 20 and the 50 day and pulled back, think this is where I entered last week, right around this level right here, right around this 560 level, and then just kind of let it rest. So I really just I use those um, sport resistance levels and moving averages to kind of find where I want to. And then once I identify that, then I'll go to the 5 minute charts, and this is what I will enter on the intraday, and this is where I look for entries. So on the entry, and again, I've got the VWAP,
Nice.
and then I use the 9 EMA and the 20 as mine. And really, a lot of times, if I'm looking to be long, like I just showed on the SPY over here, this is a smaller daily chart. I know that I'm looking to be long that day. I love it when it gaps down,
Hmm.
uh, and kind of rounds out, and then once it crosses up over my moving averages or over the VWAP, then I'm looking to get long with a stop at the low of the day. And that's what I've been doing a lot of lately. And then typically hold it. I guess it's a hybrid of a day trade or swing trade in that I'm typically holding it a couple days, but I'm not swinging where I'm holding it several weeks. So I'm looking,
Right.
for if I'm risking 500 bucks on the particular trade. I have a dollar amount in my head that I want to risk, and so I always do it by dollar amounts. If I'm risking 500, then I'm going to shoot for a target, usually 3 or 4 times what that risk is. And so if I'm risking 500 bucks, I'm looking to make 2,000, and so I'll set those parameters in my trading software and then let it play out. I've
Nice.
learned if I don't touch it and just let it do its thing, I'm typically better at it. If I start, you know, if I start tinkering with the trade, I either leave money on the table or I get out too soon, and that's so. So I try to have a set it and forget it. Once I know my parameter, I know where my target is, then I'll let that ride. And my winning percentage is not typically high, maybe 35 to 40% of my winning percentage. But I've just found that if I my and you know this, if you have if your winners are 2 to 3, 4 times your
Yeah.
loss, I mean you can have a 30% winning percent and make really good money.
Yeah.
Doing and that took me a while to figure out because I would get down on losses and like I've lost this many in a row, and when I finally just started understanding the probabilities and understanding putting the numbers and the averages in my favor, that's when things really begin to turn for me and kind of understanding the risk reward. So if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And there's a few things to unpack there, which I absolutely love what you said. I mean, first, like just having the clean charts. We see it time and time again. Generally beginners, they'll have a ton of indicators. Everything's telling them to buy, and then this one's telling them to sell. And like you said, there are just too many signals coming left, right, and center. And they just go around in circles. They never really commit to anything. And we always see that, once someone starts getting profitable and getting good at trading, their charts become cleaner and less populated. And, again, you're a perfect example of that. A few moving averages, VWAP, that's pretty much it, and then support and resistance and just doing price action. And that's the right way to do it, 100%. And then I also love what you said about, just the pure risk management you have here. Your win rate might be 30, 40%, but because you got a really good risk reward, you're still profitable. And, this, again, another thing that, although most people know about that, it's very hard to actually do, to put into practice. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fact
I
that
mean,
sorry, go ahead.
well, no, I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, if you're staring at the dollar amount, as it's going up, that makes it very difficult because you're gonna you'll take profit too soon, and you start cutting those wins, and then it makes it harder to catch up when you have some of the losses as well. And so letting it play out, and again, I think it goes back to having a plan going into the trade. You know where how much you're going to risk, and you know where you're hoping that's going to go, and you suspect it's going to go, and you have your target in place, and then letting it do its thing,
Yeah.
and know that it's going to whip back and forth. And I always trading off the daily, making the decision off the daily is for me is the best way to go. I think sometimes if I'm sitting there watching the 5 minute chart all day long, or the 1 minute, or whatever intraday chart you're looking at, that can make it kind of scary because it can whip back and forth, and then you start getting in your head, oh, crap, here, I'm about to lose all this money that I made or whatever. And then, and then sure enough, you get out and then it whips back in your favor again. And you play that little game, and that's enough to make you pull your hair out. So I try
Yeah.
to identify on the daily, look for an entry on the intraday, and then let it do its thing and play it out. And that seems to have worked better for me than tinkering throughout the day all day long with it.
Yeah. And believe me, I know how hard that is. The fact that you've overcome that, I mean,
Yeah.
props to you because I could never do it. That's why I can't swing trade. Like I was, if I was in a long, or not, I mean, in like a long-term position, a swing trade type position, I would obsess over the trade. Honestly,
Mhm.
I'd be looking at it on my phone constantly. Every time I go to sleep, I'll be dreaming about the trade
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
couldn't do it, man. I just couldn't do it. So the fact that you've overcome the psychological part and you've nailed it, honestly, I admire that a lot because it's something
Well,
I
I don't know if I nailed it. I would be lying to say that I'm not laying in my bed pulling up my iPhone. No, or if I wake up in the middle of the night, I'm not pulling up the charts on my phone. So I don't know that I've nailed it. I've learned how to sit on my hands, but as far as just completely nailing the psychology of holding positions like that, I don't think I've quite got there yet, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, well, you seem to be doing a lot better than me when it came to swing trading, that's for
So you're
sure.
just trading when you say you're trading the SPY, you're just that's all intraday, trading off
Yeah,
intraday.
I'm
Okay.
US Open, first
Okay.
2 hours, I'm looking for that push. And then
Yep.
I use order flow to, I trade a futures market, so I
Okay.
got the transactional data and then scalping. One or two trades maximum. Once I'm, whether good or bad, I'm out for the day. You know, that's
Okay.
it.
And just the SPY, not the Qs or the Dow
No,
or
just the
whatever.
S&P. Yeah, just the S&P for me.
Okay.
Um, Nothing that's more just because you kind of, I don't know, I kind of have a feeling for how it
Mhm.
moves now. Do you know what I mean? If you put me on another chart, I could technically trade it, but I wouldn't feel as confident.
Sure.
Like the S&P day in, day out, it's my bread and butter.
Yeah.
I just know how it, I don't know. I feel confident with it. So, um, but yeah, can never swing trade though. I completely sucked at it.
But I
Really
do.
did.
I mean, I know what you're meaning because I still watch the days, the intraday trades, and most of them, I guess, would be somewhat of a day trade, because I'm using those 5 minute charts. But you do get a feel for the particular what the indice or whatever you're trading, and that's just again, you probably just put a lot of screen time into watching what it does, and so you get a second sense, kind of where it's going to go from here, and when it's about to make that move,
Yeah,
what time of the day of it, when that move is going to happen, that kind of stuff too. So that's always
yeah,
helpful. But I'm with you. I still trade equities, but I feel like most of my money, especially this year, has become mainly off the indices and trading those. So
yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, no, your strategy looks fantastic. Really good stuff, and it's clearly, I mean, it's clearly paying off for you. You've done very well.
thank
Uh,
you.
so you can stop your screen now. There's
Okay.
yeah, that was awesome, awesome. We're back.
Okay.
Cool. Um, so I'd like to move it on a little bit. So uh, obviously, strategy is one side of the equation. Psychology is a big one. We briefly spoke about it. Um, I feel like it's an ongoing battle for every trader, right? You're always battling your psychology. Even when you kind of nailed it, there's that, I don't know, that gambler within every trader who just kind of
Mhm.
wants
Yeah,
to wants to break their rules, right?
sure.
How do you overcome that? How do you overcome the, FOMO, greed, all the bad emotions, basically?
I don't know if you figure that out. Let me know. It's an ongoing thing, like you said. I mean, there's great books out there. Trading in the Zone, anything about Douglas, on just on psychology, and so I listen to those when I'm driving on long trips. I've probably listened to Trading in the Zone 10 times. And every time there's something new. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I've been doing that, yeah, and I think it's always going to be there. I think when you've had enough pain in the market,
Yeah.
you remember what that pain is like, that feeling, of giving it all back or having a big loss because you broke the rule. I don't mind losing if that just the charge didn't if it didn't go my way, and that's going to happen. You're going to have losses, but that feeling that you get of losing because you broke your rule, because you had FOMO, because you got greedy, because you over leveraged and took a bigger position. And so, I think just writing down your rules, having them with you, and then just reviewing them daily if you can.
Yeah.
Over them, have them on your desk, put them on sticky notes, whatever. Just a reminder of why you're doing it, and but even then, I mean, I've had sticky notes and posters and everything, right? And I still would be like, YOLO it and just go all in sometimes on one, and then more times than not, it blows up in your face, and you're like, you're back to square one, and you're frustrated and pissed,
Yeah.
and I think it just takes time of just where you get to a point like I don't want that feeling of I blew this because it's on you. There's no one else to blame. It is on you, right? Um,
100%. Yeah.
so I think some people are much better at it. I think it's taken me a long time to get here. I've seen traders that have been really successful. Um, and I think that's because they were better at managing their emotions, managing risk, and they got there quicker. And that's really what it's all about. I don't even know if you have to be a great technical analysis or chart reader. If you know how to manage risk and manage your emotions, you can make money in this game. But that's what it boils down to. But if you don't have any kind of risk management, and if you can't control that FOMO and all that, I mean, you're just going to be chasing your tail. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll be 15 years later and you're still doing the same thing. So
Yeah.
I think you just got to kind of get to that place where like, I'm not going to let this happen anymore, and try to do it more times than not.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's any help
No.
at all. That doesn't sound like there's any substance to it. Yeah.
No, no, that was spot on, honestly. I mean, I think every trader can relate to that 100%. Um, Everything you said there is like it's almost as if you just read out my story. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's almost as if you knew everything that's happened to me in the past, trading wise. Like it's spot on. I mean,
Well,
some
I mean, that's every trader's. I mean, I think I don't know of any trader that doesn't go through that because it's such a kill what you eat business. I mean, it's just it all comes down to you being able to manage yourself. There's no rules. There's nothing in place. I mean, you can go as large as you want. You don't have somebody looking over your shoulder telling you no. So you've got to be that person to look over your shoulder, and
yeah,
so that's very difficult. Because what other job? I mean, there's what else? There's not a whole lot of jobs that gives you that kind of freedom where you can do whatever you want in it, and
yeah.
but then deal with the outcome of what that looks like. So.
Yeah, no, 100% right. 100% right. I mean, it's funny in the live sessions, we discovered that a few of our, like me and a few of the other trading coaches, we all have like and we all called it something else. I called it the casino account. Michael called it the bully account. It's basically like a small account where you just have money you don't care about.
Right, right.
And whenever you want to just break your rules or do something really stupid, you do it on that account. Do you know what I
That's a
mean?
good idea. I've never thought about that. Just to have a casino account where you can just screw it, and I
Yeah.
want to call in on Bitcoin because I feel like it's about to rip through the roof and something like that. So you know what? I think I'm gonna steal that for sure. That would be
Yeah,
awesome.
no, try it, see if it helps. I mean, it helps me as well because it kind of satisfies
Yeah.
that degenerate inside every trader, who just wants to.
You know what helped me too was this is you're talking about degenerate was me betting on sports during football season too uh because I do like to gamble, and
Yeah.
so gosh, I can't believe I'm telling your listeners to go gamble. That's horrible,
No, no, we weren't advised to gamble,
but
but
no, I'm not about to gamble, or maybe if it's just a few bucks or whatever, but betting on football here and getting that kind of out of me, I think actually helped me not do it in my trading, right? So
yeah,
I'm betting on the Cowboys game, but I'm not going to bet on the S&P. And
exactly.
so that's anyway. So
No, you're
you
100%
guys can
right.
edit that out.
You're 100% right. You gotta like scratch the itch somewhere. I mean,
Yeah, 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 for sure.
I think every trader has that streak within them. it's partly why we're probably attracted to trading in the first place. The idea that, no, okay, yeah, you got freedom, you can control your own destiny and all the good stuff, right? But there is that, if we're being completely honest, there is that gambling streak in all of us who just kind of,
Yeah, and especially when you're on the right side of the trade and it's going parabolic, and that's a great feeling, and you're
yeah,
watching those numbers go up, and yeah, it's that's part of trying to control all of it too, is um
a million
just
percent.
striking an itch. Yeah, for sure.
I'd love to move on a little bit to Ola Prime. What's your experience so far with Ola Prime? Uh,
It's been great. I think I think I bombed a couple of uh evaluations to start out. So if anybody's listening and you have bombed a couple, it's okay. And I what I really like about Ola Prime and just the prop industry in general is it does allow you to not just scratch the itch we were talking, but it allows you to try different things out. And that's, I had never really traded the indices up until this past year. And started. So this allowed me to, okay, well, there's not a whole lot of stocks for me to pick from and on most prop firms. So let's work on the indices, work on a little bit of forex, and so I think people use it as an opportunity to try out different strategies,
yeah.
whatever indicators you're using. Just because you're just risking whatever your evaluation fee was. And then as you get more serious into it, really, and you kind of nail down your strategy, start focusing. But as far as Ola Prime, it's been great. The communication's been wonderful. In this industry, and your listeners probably know there's some shady ones out there
Mm,
that will find reasons not to pay out or can just straight up disappear overnight, kind of
yeah.
deal. So, I did some research before, joining you guys and paying the valuation, and the 1 hour payout that you guys promote. I mean, that's awesome. If anybody knows, waiting on a payout can be torture, especially if that's your only trading account. And so now
Yeah.
you're shut down for 2 days. And then talk about FOMO. The market takes off, and this is where I wanted to enter, but I can't because my trading account shut down. And so being able to turn around and continue to trade and all that. So it's been a great experience so
Uh,
far. I would highly recommend anybody thinking about joining the prop industry to give you guys a try for sure.
that's awesome. That's really good to hear. And I'm glad that you're enjoying your time with us so far. And I'm confident that in the future you'll be having many more payouts. You seem to have like a good mindset when it comes to trading, and you're the kind of person, like mindset wise, that we're looking for. People who take it nice and slow, people who look target realistic gains. Like you have the 300,000K account payout of 9,500. It shows that you're not trying to do 50% in a month or something, because while it's
Right.
possible technically, of course it's possible, right? The chances are you're going to do that consistently, probably not. So targeting, like a smaller amount and kind of just consistent gains, that's exactly what we're looking for. So yeah, we're really happy to have you on board. And we're very excited to see your journey. um I'd love to know though, what's the future like for you? Are you looking to get more? Are you looking to scale the account? What's
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the next few years for you?
I enjoy doing this. I've got a daughter who is a sophomore in high school, and then a son that's a freshman. When they graduate, I feel like this is something I can take with me wherever I'm not tied to this current city that I'm in. Once they graduate, I'm sure they're off to college. They don't want me following them around. So, uh, not married, and so it allows me just to, I think about just traveling and with my laptop and making trading decisions on the road and doing things like that. I think it's a skill that you can take with you for the rest of your life,
Yeah,
and I would encourage anybody not to. It can be done. It's not easy, but don't give up on it, because if you figure it out and you figure out how to control and manage risk and all the technical side of it, it's something you can do anywhere.
Yeah.
and it really does. I mean, I know it's cliche, the freedom it gives you, but um, it does. It can give you total freedom to do whatever you want to do
Yeah.
in life. So I don't know what that looks like. I don't know where I'm going to go. I may do some mission trips, some things like that. Serve different areas, but knowing that I can always, I think this will probably be something that I always do continue because I do love it.
Yeah.
And when you get that bug, as you know, it's hard to leave it behind, even when you get frustrated or mad. It's hard to ever let it go completely. And so I'm glad I didn't, because I did want to give up many
Mm.
times. And I'm glad that I didn't, as things have come together for me.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And like the whole, I know, like you said, it does sound cliche, but it really is true. And it's a skill that, yeah, you can, it allows you, it does just give you freedom. It's hard to explain. I mean, Um, I'm not, saying if you have a full-time job, quit your job or something. Absolutely not. Keep your job until until you're really doing well with trading.
Sure,
I'll never
sure.
recommend someone to ditch their job and go full time into trading, unless they're already very proficient at it. Um, but yeah, it's something like for me, I feel like you said, you can just take your laptop. I do find when I do travel, I never actually trade.
Oh,
The
really?
idea of just pulling out the laptop and
Yeah, yeah,
you're on a beach somewhere or you're on by the swimming pool.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm not gonna.
So it's a bit of a dream a lot of the time. Like I find I never do it, but theoretically, yeah, you could.
Yeah, I would, and just kind of piggyback on what you said about quitting your job. I think that is when I hear people doing that, or hey, I'm going to, or you're in a chat room or something. It's almost like you almost just want to call them, and I don't even know this guy. He's in a chat room, but give him a call and let's talk about this, because the pressure that comes from, because I've been there where you need that money
Yeah,
to pay bills. Your kids, they want to eat like 3 times a day.
yeah,
So, so I mean, that the pressure that comes with, I have to have that money. And I'm fortunate, I've got some fitness studios that I own here in the Dallas area. So I don't need the money. And then,
yeah,
and when that goes away, I think it definitely that pressure goes away with it. And it helps. It helps you stay in positions longer. For me as a swing trader, like you were talking about, to be able to keep it open when I'm in the profit, and it's like, wow, that's a good chunk of money.
yeah,
But my target's here. Let's let it play out and understand that it may pull back, because nothing goes straight up, and that's okay. And so yeah, I guess. I don't think I still don't do it as my full-time income, even after
yeah,
all the time. So I feel like I could if I wanted to, but I'm fortunate, been blessed that I don't have to. And so
yeah,
I think that helps. So just, I guess encourage somebody to really kind of think through all of that before trying to jump right in. Because if you need that money, that's where you start making, that's where you start
yeah.
making bad decisions.
It is ridiculously hard if you're reliant on that money, trading it. I can't imagine many people will come out on the other side
Yes.
in the green because the emotions are just way too high. It's always best to have trade with money that you can afford to lose, or it just
Right,
wouldn't affect you if you lost it.
right, right, right.
That's ultimately the best. Or with a prop firm where, I mean, because a lot of people, the reason they struggle is actually an underfunding problem.
Sure, sure.
Some people might have, $1,000 assigned to put into an account. If you're doing, 5% on $1,000, you're not going to be happy with that, right?
Right. If you're gonna take big, and then you're not gonna be happy, so you're gonna take bigger risks because you want that thousand to grow,
Yeah,
and all that's gonna do is that thousand's gonna go. It's gonna go
exactly.
away pretty quick eventually.
And it's you just go around and round and round. You keep repeating that until eventually you just have enough. You either quit or you, I don't know, go with a prop firm or do something else.
Yeah,
But
right.
that is a lot of people is underfunding. So if you have a full-time job or you have a stable income of some kind, cling on to it for dear life whilst you're learning to trade. Never quit that until trading is, of course, if you're making millions or something, then fair enough. But
Right, right, right. Well, and that's why I told her I took that job at that brokerage firm. I wasn't making a whole lot of money as a stockbroker for them, but it allowed me to continue watching charts all day long. And I
yeah,
knew this is what I wanted to do, and I knew, and I had learned the only way I'm going to get better is just to live price action and just watching the charts and the price action. And so, I guess kind of this goes back to finding a way to put yourself in front of the screen, especially when, in your case, if you're day trading in those intraday charts, you have to do it. That's really the only way around, to learn. I think the best way to learn, I guess,
Yeah.
is just screen time.
1,000,000%. Subconsciously, you see stuff that your conscious mind isn't even aware of, but it speaks to you in your gut, and you just kind of get that feeling, and that's invaluable. That's saved my ass many times in trades.
Good. For sure. No, and and when I was studying, when I was there at the brokerage, I also want to learn about risk management, because these guys were, like I said, we were finding hard to borrow stocks for them to short.
Mm.
They're garbage companies that they're shorting, and that goes up 200 or 300% in one day, and so they're trying to pick the top, and they're shorting, and then they just keep getting smoked out, and so then they're calling back, or they're IMing, and hey, can I get another 3,000 shares, and they're doing that, and you just watch them just blow through these. I can see all their accounts, so you just see them just blow through serious amounts of money trying to pick the top, and so that really I learned. As far as just I guess the cliche again, catching a falling knife, all that kind of stuff. Just learning to wait for confirmation, wait for things to set up. You don't have to be early, you don't have to be first, as long as you're not last. So you can get a big piece of the move, but wait for it to confirm, and your winning percentage will go up, and your risk management will be better for sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we as retail traders, we're just trying to catch the crumbs from the big institutions. That's all we're trying to do. We don't have to guess when, at the beginning of the move. We just need to be at the right time where we can catch a part of it, and that pays our bills. But Jeremy, we're gonna wrap it up there. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for coming on. Your story, everything you shared with us today, it's been invaluable, I'm sure, for the people watching. So honestly, thank you so much for coming.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Anytime.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And to all the viewers, thank you guys for watching. If you like this episode, go ahead, click that like button, subscribe to our channel, leave a comment, share it with your friends, and turn on those channel notifications so you never miss any new uploads. One last thing before you do go ahead in the description. You'll see a join our Discord button. Go ahead, click that. It's completely free to join, and you'll be invited to our Discord, where you get lots of exclusive stuff only found on our Discord. Things like live AMA sessions, exclusive competitions, promo codes, all sorts of stuff. So go ahead, click on it, join our Discord, share your trade ideas. I'm sure you'll absolutely love it. But apart from that, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again very soon. Take care.
Hola Prime, trade with transparency.